find fractions into percentages. Now, there is a secret which you can use to make this easier, and it's called auxiliary fractions. For these things to work, you have to start with a fraction where the denominator has a 9 in the units place. Then you can apply these auxiliary fractions. If you want, you can write AF. However, here is how they go. So let's choose any fraction. So let us say we have 5 divided by 19. So notice how 19 is closest to 20. So we are going to replace the denominator to 20. Next, we divide the top by 10 and the bottom by 10 because that essentially keeps the fraction stable, because 10 by 10 is just 1, and dividing 5 and 20 by 10, if they both are in fraction, just gives a fraction with the same value. And this gives our fraction 0.5 over 2 AF. That is short for auxiliary fractions. Now let us see how to start computing fractions like this. So we write down our fraction. So the first step is to divide the numerator by the denominator, just as all fractions do. So that gives us a quotient of 0.2 and a remainder of 1. So prefix your 1 to the 2, and it makes it 12. Now take 12 and divide that by 2. Now 12 divided by 2 is 0. 6. There's no remainder. And now we have 6. And we can divide that by the denominator too. And we have 0, 3. One more decimal digit. So divide 3 by 2. And then you will get a 1 remainder 1. And you can add the dots, but I'm just giving them. So now that we have the first 4 digits, we can multiply that by 100. So 5 over 19 equals 0.2631, and as you know, that is 26.31%. You can go less, and you can go only up to 3 or even 2 decimal places, or you can continue for 5, 6, or even 7 decimals. However, so there is a sad thing, and it is that you won't find this concept in any school or college book. So in order for you to understand, let's do another fraction. Say 3 out of 29. Let us actually choose 11 out of 29 for better understanding. After this one, I'll go to converting all the most fractions into the decimal forms, and always, even if the denominator still doesn't have a 9 at the end, you can multiply the fraction by a number to give you that. For example, if this was 11 by 17, we just multiply it by 7. So 7 over 7, and that is 77 over 119, and then we just continue as this. So let me do another example. So let me start another example. 29 is closest to 30, so 11 by 30, and then we divide, and we get 1.1 over 3. And now that we have our AF, let us start computing. So first, we divide 1.1 by 3, which gives us a quotient of 0.3 with a remainder of 2. So 3 prefix it as 23. Now we divide 23 by that 3 and we get 7 remainder 2, so 27. Here we get 0.9. By dividing 27 by 3 we get 0.9, and dividing it once more we get 0.3. And again the dots if you want. So now that we have our fraction, we just multiply it by 100. So 11 over 29, equals 0.379, which is 37.93%. Now let us start with the other fractions. 1/2 first. That everyone knows is 50%. 1/3. That is easy as well. It is 33.33%. I'm only writing the digits up to the first 4 decimal places, okay? Now 2/3 is basically double. So that is 66.66% because we double. 1/3 is this. Now we double it to get for 2/3. Hope that is clear. Now for 1/4. This is 25%. That's simple. 2/4 is nothing but a half. So 50. 3/4 is also simple. And for this, you can add 1/4 and 2/4, or you can subtract 1/4 from 1. But no matter what you do, it will be 75%. 1/5 is easy. It's just 20%. 2/5 is also super easy. 40%, we just have to double. 3/5 is just triple of 1/5, or just the sum of 1/5 and 2/5. So 60%. You can add. Now it's time for 4/5. 4/5 is equal to double of 2/5. So that is 80% because double of 40% is 40% plus 40%, which gives us our 80%. Now we are coming to the next fraction, 1/6. Now 1/6 is basically 1/3 of a half because 1/2 times a third is a sixth. Let me actually write that down if you don't. 1/6. So if you want, you can just divide 50% by 3 and it will give you 16.6%. And that is the value exact. However, I'm going for 16.7% actually. It is. Now 2/6 is just double. So I'm actually doing the multiplication over here. So you must know decimal multiplication. So I'm actually so we multiply this. We get, and thus we get 33.4%. You have to add the percentage. Next, we have 3/6. That I'm actually doing it mentally, but it's actually 50%, of course, because 3/6 is 1/2. It's easy. Actually, 2/6 33.3 because that is 1/4. Whoops, I forgot that it will be 4 to 4 digits. So 1/6 is 16.67%. 2/3 is 33.33% because it's 1/3 when simplified. 1/2 when simplified, so 50%. 4/6 when simplified is 2/3, which is nothing but 66.66%. And finally, we have 5/6. Now, one way to derive 5/6 is to subtract 1/6 from 1. So we already know that 1 is 100%, and when we subtract, we are going to get 83.33%. So got it? Next is time for 1/7. Now, if I did not notice, then it would have been auxiliary fractions. So I'm doing that for you in case you don't know. So, do you know what we should do for 1/7? Since it doesn't start. So, what we could do for 1/7 is multiply it by 7/7, which means multiplying the numerator by 7, which is 7, and multiplying the denominator by 7, which gives us 49. And now we just turn it into our auxiliary fractions. And then, whoops, that's good. We start computing it. I'm just writing 1/7. So we first divide this 7 by 5, which gives us a remainder of 2 but 1. Now we divide 21 by 5, and we get a remainder of 1 while getting 4 at the quotient. Now 14 by 5 is simple. Remainder for 2 as the, remainder for, yes, it's 2. And then we divide 42 by 5. So we have 42 divided by 5, which is 2. And we have then a remainder of, the remainder of 2, 8. So 28, we have, I'm going one more step, so 28. We divide and we get 3, 5, and then the dots, of course. And now that we have got it, we just convert it into a percentage, and thus we have 1/7 equals 14.28. Could I add a 5? Okay, 5%. 2/7 now should be easy. We just multiply. And that gives us 28.56.57%. Now for 3/7. Now for 3/7, you can add these two up so that it's 42.7. No.
I think we should finish now.
855%. So you can so now you can calculate 4, 7, 5, 7, 6, 7. And 1/8